What's up, everyone? From 5-9 Gaming, I'm Toonrami, and you're watching Getting to Know. It's the show with questions and even more questions. And today, we're getting to know Goresh. As one of the founders of this channel and one of the marquee names in the Dragon Ball community, you can find him on the 5-9 network everywhere, as well as his very own YouTube channel. Goresh, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me on. Glad to be here. I got my credit card number ready. What else we need for this?
Address, real name.
Yeah, SSN.
If you had to create your perfect weekend, would you rather it be centered around Dragon Ball gaming and some compelling anime, or instead, would you prefer watching your favorite murder mystery while speedrunning some classic Mario?
I'd be watching it while speedrunning? That's tough.
Yeah, just have have maybe Twin Peaks running in the background while you're playing some Mario 64 or something.
Nah, because if I got that on, then I'm 100% zoned in on that. I can't do both. Like, okay, a lot of times I'm like watching multiple things while like farming links and like messaging people and stuff. Like I could multitask like easily, but when it comes to certain things like that, I need to focus on like, you know, one thing. Like with like a mystery show, if I'm watching that, I have to have full attention on that. Otherwise, there's no point in watching that, I think.
When you're watching a show like Twin Peaks or something, you know, murder mystery related, are you so engaged where you're inspecting frame by frame for the smallest little clues? Or are you kind of the viewer where you have to watch it a couple times to really digest what's been going on?
I don't go back and rewatch stuff more than once, like during like a live run of it. But when I was watching through Twin Peaks, like I would be thinking like throughout the episode while the episode's playing, like, okay, this is happening, and I'm trying to piece together, you know, what the possible outcomes are in my head while watching it. So I'm not somebody that like is gonna like pause the show to like see, oh, like is that like relevant to this or something. I just like do it in my head as the show goes along. I'm actually really big into like psychological thriller movies too. I like figuring stuff out in like movies that and not even just movies too. It's like movies or any shows that make you think about stuff. There's a lot of different psychological thrillers where it's like movies that like create like time loops and stuff like that, where it's like, okay, how did this happen? And you go through and try and figure out like what the cause and effect relationship between certain events that transpire in a movie are, or a show. And I feel like that's something that is, you know, that's I've really become attracted to over the past like 3 or 4 years now. I don't know, just stuff that makes you think, I think, is what I like to watch in terms of shows and movies. And then obviously also action, like Marvel movies are fun to watch also.
Have you found yourself watching a trailer for a film and then dissecting that frame by frame to see what clues are available in that?
Yeah, and a good example of that recently was, not like the most recent trailer, but when the trailers first started popping up for it, the Godzilla vs. Kong movie trailers.
Precisely. Yeah.
Because we sort of had leaks from toys to show, you know, which characters were going to appear in the movie, and they obviously were trying to hide which characters were gonna, you know, come up in the movie and not. And there was like they definitely knew that people knew about it already, because they slid in like legitimately like 0.5 seconds of a frame of like the characters, like like a portion of the character's body, and people would go on Twitter and like screenshot that one frame and put it up and be like, oh, confirmed, like there he is. And so like those are types of movies where it's like, if you think you know something that's going to happen, you try and look for it in the trailers, right? So like in a Marvel movie, for instance, I'm making this up, like we don't know this. If there's a movie coming out, let's just say, I don't know, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, right? That's an upcoming Marvel movie. If there's a leak or something, or a toy comes out that's related to that movie that has Galactus in, like, you know, that's going to be a character that's going to appear in the movie. When the first trailer for the movie comes out, do you know how many people are going to pause every frame looking for him? Like, a lot.
Me?
A lot of people.
Yeah. I would too.
So I think in those instances, like having some sort of advanced information or advanced knowledge about something that's not technically confirmed, but it makes a lot of sense that it could happen, is going to trigger people to, look deeper into it, or cause them to behave in a way that's they wouldn't normally behave if they didn't have that information already.
All right, so I'm sure a lot of people have been dying to know, where the heck did the name Goresh come from?
It's a pretty pretty boring story. I think I've told this a few times before, but I used to be a big World of Warcraft player back in like 2008 through 2012 or 2013 or whatever. I don't remember the year I stopped playing. But like my first or second character, no, it wasn't my first character. It was like my second or third character that ultimately became my main character that I played for years and years and years. I remember creating him on the character creation screen, and like I customized him or did whatever I had to do with like, you know, the way he looks, the appearance, and then you get to the last step, which is picking a name. I think I tried like 2 or 3 different names, and they were all taken. I'm like, all right, whatever. I just click randomize, and that's what it ended up being. So it's literally just a
Wait,
random.
that's it?
Yeah, it's literally just random.
Oh my gosh! I really thought there was maybe some sort of like cultural significance. Maybe it was something Asian related. I was trying to actually figure out if there was some sort of way you could connect that name to what you looked like before, of course, you revealed your face.
No, it's actually just a button that I clicked that was random.
It's just random. Wow. Do you still play Warcraft, by the way?
No, I haven't played since I quit back in like, I think it was either 2013 or 2014. I think it was 2014. I think it was the summer of 2014 that I quit. But they just announced that the BlizzCon online, I think this was back like a month ago or so, maybe a little bit more, that they were coming out with the Burning Crusade servers, because right now they have the classic servers, which is basically, you know, WoW before it had any expansion, and that's to cater towards the audience that's just, you know, nostalgic and stuff like that, and they want to go back and play the original game. So those servers are currently live, but they're planning on releasing additional servers that are going to implement the Burning Crusade expansion, which is pretty much when I played the most, back when I first started playing. So when that comes out, I might jump in with a few real life friends that I played with, like we're talking like 13 years ago, back in, and start playing again and see how we feel, because it's going to be, you know, nostalgic and reminisce of the times we played again like 13 years ago. So I think it could be fun. I don't play right now though, so it's gonna be weird jumping back into that. By the way, that game is a game that I have over 10,000 hours in, so it's by far my most played game, I would say.
I was just gonna say that, yeah. So that was the game that consumed your life before any of these newer titles that you're known for these days.
Oh yeah. There would be days where I'd play that game for like 14 hours straight.
I don't know much about Warcraft, but I do know that I had a couple of friends who were super into it too. Let me know if these ring a bell. Frozen Throne.
Yeah, that's Warcraft 3, which is the RTS that came out before World of Warcraft came out. World of Warcraft is pretty much an expansion of that game. Okay. So Blizzard created 3 different RTS games, which for people who don't know, it's a real-time strategy game. It's kind of like StarCraft, same sort of format. And obviously there's Warcraft 1, there was Warcraft 2, Orcs and Humans, and then there's Warcraft 3, Reign of Chaos. And then the expansion to Warcraft 3, Reign of Chaos was the Frozen Throne. And yeah, I played that a lot as well, but I didn't play it for the main story. I played it actually for a lot of online custom games, because they actually introduced a feature in that game where you could go through the files of the game and create your own game online, and like there were a lot of creative ideas on there that I played with friends, and it was fun. Yeah.
So let me know if these sound familiar. Mall Wars.
Yep. Yeah, that's part of what I just talked about, the custom games in Warcraft 3.
And I think there's like anime Smash War or anime Mall Fight or something like that. Yeah,
Mall is basically like tower defense. There was actually a custom map in that game called DBZ Tribute. Basically, the way it worked was you spawned as a character. I think there was like Goku, Vegeta, Broly was in there. Like there's a lot of characters in there. I think there was like and everyone was basically either on the good team or the bad team. So you were a villain or a good guy, and you worked together with your team to defeat the other team. But you would start at like a designated point on the map, and you'd level up by killing. It's basically like the very, very, very early stages of like those battleground games. You would zone in at obviously level 1, you'd level up by killing monsters, and then you'd like encounter like quests along, like it would play through the sagas of the story. So it would start at the Saiyan saga and then go all the way through GT and the movies too. So like it was fun because so most of the time you wouldn't make it through all the sagas, because as long as you killed the enemy team, you won, and then the game would end. But like those are like side quests that you would use to power up. So like if you were able to kill like Turles, I think he was like one of the early sagas that appeared. Like if you were able to kill Turles and get like his power, because all the bosses drop power ups. That's like the point to beat them. Then you would like have an advantage over your opponent, and then you find him and kill him.
So a lot of people may not know this, but you are a very competitive person, Goresh. Did you know that?
Did you know that?
Did you? I mean, I learned it. I learned it. There have been several instances on record where I have learned that you are a very competitive person. Were you always this way? Were you always super, super, super competitive?
I was somebody who grew up playing a lot of sports, and I think that might be one of the reasons why that side of me, I guess, developed the way that it did. But it's also, I think, important for people to understand like when it's appropriate to be competitive and when it isn't. Like I see this a lot in Legends, and I'm not going to get into like, oh, like you shouldn't view this as a competitive game or whatever, but a lot of people, I think, take the game way too seriously when the game was not designed or created to be competitive. And I think it's fine to take it, as a competitive game to get better at it, because like the only way you're going to get better at something drastically is by treating it as a competitive game, or even not even just a game. Like if you're playing sports or whatever, and you're playing a friend for fun, or let's talk about basketball, because you're a basketball fan, right?
Yeah.
So like in basketball, right? If you are playing a pickup game and you don't treat it seriously and you don't take it as a serious event that's happening, then you're not going to get better from that, right? If you just like blow it off and just shoot threes every time you get the ball, like you're not going to get better, right? So I think that's a mindset that you have to understand if you want to get better at something. I actually just recorded a video for Legends where it was me just sitting down for 2 hours screen recording video. Okay, this is actually what happened though, because people are going to ask this. I recorded this video during my meetings. So I'm working.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
so I'm working, and I don't really have time to sit down at my computer and like plug in my phone to my Elgato and like screen record with commentary, right? I just don't have that much time right now. So the way I got around this was I just sat down in my meetings, and it's just like, it's me and like 40 people in these meetings. So these are big meetings. So I'm not necessarily talking, but I'm there to listen. So I figure, why not just screen record a bunch of matches now? I can upload them to my computer and I can talk over them. And I found that even though I wasn't really 100% zoned in on all the matches I was recording, I still was getting better because I was focusing on the matches to the best that I could. And it's been a long time since I just sat down and just played the game without having any sort of distractions outside of that. So that's like a mindset that I was taking while I'm recording that, and that's something that you can apply to pretty much anything else. Even when it comes to like schoolwork, like if you're not focused on like what you're doing and you're not determined to like memorize, whatever you're doing, vocabulary or learn a language or get better at math or whatever like literally anything you're doing, then it's going to be a lot harder for you to achieve that goal. And so that, I think, for me, stemmed a lot from sports that I played as a kid. I played basketball, I played baseball, soccer, and then boxing came later. But that, I think, is a product of a lot of the sports that I played as a kid.
What is your take on the word tryhard, the connotations that are associated with that word?
Again, this kind of goes back to the point that I was making earlier, where there's a place to be competitive and there's a place not to be competitive. It's kind of difficult to really understand where to be competitive and where not to be competitive. So in my opinion, it's if you're like, oh, should I like do this or should I not do it? If you're ever like questioning that, you should just try your best in every scenario, right? That's why I think, as a kid, you would always hear like, as long as you try your best, that's like, you can't ask for more, right? And that's sort of like where that saying comes from, because again, that's the only way you're going to get better. Like even if you're, I guess, a good example I could give is even if you're on like the worst sports team ever, right? And you have, it's like the Bad News Bears. Let's just say you're a member of the Bad News Bears. And you're playing this team that's obviously going to destroy you and you have no chance at all. It's still better to try your best, because otherwise there's no point in playing at all, right? Otherwise, what's the point of playing if you're not going to at least try? Because that's going to at least enhance certain aspects of your game, right? You're going to get better in some respect if you try your best, because you can learn from your mistakes or certain things that you're not doing correctly, right? And I think the term try hard, I don't know. I don't like the term try hard, because I feel like you should be trying hard no matter what, right? Do you agree?
Right. Yeah, I agree. That's exactly my point. I feel like the whole understanding of the word tryhard has been lost on people. It's not a bad thing to be a tryhard. You are literally describing how someone should be living life. You're supposed to try your best. You're supposed to be doing what you can. But I feel like it's been distorted so much now, where anytime you utter the words tryhard, it's generally associated with somebody who is ruining the experience for you, because that's your only way of coping with the fact that they are performing better. It's so messed up now how people perceive that.
Yeah, I mean, there are certain times where I feel like it's maybe not well, I don't know, because there's never really a bad time to try hard. But I will say that there are certain points where maybe like instead of trying your hardest, maybe like, you know, memeing it up might be like a more fun experience for everybody involved, right? That can definitely be the case. Like, for instance, if you're playing, I don't know, I'm going to bring Legends back into this because most people can understand the example better.
I'm surprised you weren't going to say Mario Party.
Well, yeah, I mean, you want to go there?
I mean, I was ready for it. Might as well.
All right, so let me just do the Legends one first. So if you're playing Legends, right, and you're just playing a random friend match with somebody, and you're both not in it with the predisposition that you're doing this to get better. You're just playing for fun. Like, and you have the choice between the best unit in the game or like baseball Yamcha, who's like the worst unit ever. And like you and your friend come up with like a set amount of rules where it's just like, you know what? Let's just both bring the worst units because that's just more fun instead of using the best units, which you're going to see every single time anyway in like PvP. So I think in that case, it's just like there's a time when you have to learn to just, you know, have fun instead of becoming better at everything constantly. I think that's also an important. I don't even know is that considered a skill? I guess it is a skill, like a skill to know what, like to read the room, I guess is what it would be. And that I think goes hand in hand with being a quote unquote tryhard. But again, I think that word has been overused a lot. And Nas is a tryhard in Mario Party. Yeah.
I didn't foresee this in my image training.
Damn, Toon.
So let's talk about 5.9, Goresh, because obviously, as one of the founders, you were instrumental in kickstarting this whole thing. At what point in the planning stages did you realize that this vision that you guys had was something tangible and that you guys were actually going to be able to launch a collaborative channel like this with the means and the resources that you guys had in front of you?
Yeah, it's funny because I think if we take a bird's eye view of the planning process, there really wasn't a giant planning process. Like there really wasn't one. Taking a look back at how we did things. Because again, we started as like the podcast, right? The Dokkan and Legends podcast, which was like a 3.5 hour long thing every Saturday, I think. Yeah. And that went on. We're approaching 2 years on that. So it's been a long time. But we wanted to take a podcast, which was me and like I think it was like 4 other people that did it on an oral basis, and transform that into like a legally registered corporation. We're literally 5.9 is literally a C corporation, registered corporation with the government that has people working for them. We have a board of directors. We have contracts, people who are working for. Like we have like it's literally a company. It's a fully operational company. And I think if I consider the position that we're in right now and take a look back at where we were back during the Dokkan Legends podcast, which was just, you know, people didn't even have a YouTube channel back then. People were just hosting the podcast on their own channels. I remember. Yeah, it's hard to believe that we made that big of a jump in that short of a period of time. And it's just thanks to everyone else. It's not even just a Supercore member. It's not even just like the board of directors, like me, Nolard, Truth, Brad, all those people. It's not just thanks to us. It's thanks to everybody that's helped us in any way, whether you're an editor, you're a manager, you're just a content creator, you're a streamer, whatever. Everybody's played a hand in helping us out. But yeah, I mean, we're trying to get our hands in a lot of different pockets here. We have general gaming, we have Dokkan, we have Legends. We're exploring general media now with, you know, Marvel stuff coming out. There's a lot of avenues we can go with this, and we're just experimenting right now. I would say we're pretty much still in the infantile phase of growth for us. We're still trying to experiment and feel out where the best segments are for us, and we're checking, viewer sort of reactions to what our content is. Taking feedback from the comments. We read every single comment, every single video, and that's just sort of the metrics that we're looking at right now to determine, okay, this is where we want to go, this is where we want to be. And then also on Twitch, that's a completely separate sort of outlet for us to create content on as well. We always compare ourselves internally to the bigger sort of gaming and media companies like IGN, Kotaku, those kinds of companies. And I think at the end of the day, our goal is to be like them. We obviously want to do it with our own unique spin on it. And the reason why we even named ourselves 5ix9ine to begin with is because we always wanted to appreciate the Dragon Ball community, because that's where we're from, right? 5ix9ine is Goku, right? That's what it means. So we always want to have that as the foundation of who we are. So even if we do actually end up achieving, magnificent stardom like IGN or Kotaku, and we have millions of subscribers and people are following us like crazy, we're verified and stuff like that. If we get to that point, I still want people who were here during the infantile phase of our development to always have the understanding that that's where we came from. Honestly, compared to where we thought we would be when we first started, because we did make sort of like a mini roadmap to where we wanted to be within a certain amount of time, we are way past where we thought we would be. So that's a really good thing.
Goresh, thank you for taking the time to talk about your life with us. Appreciate that, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, and let me know what you want to do another chain battle video.
You got it. Folks, you can find Goresh on his YouTube channel as well as on the 5ix9ine Twitch streams, as well as some 5ix9ine YouTube videos. So make sure to check out Goresh everywhere you possibly can. More good stuff to come. See you then.